Hi, I'm Elizabeth Canales from Mississippi State University. In this video, we'll talk about marketing principles for small specialty crop and value-added producers. To start, let's talk about what is marketing and why it is important. Marketing includes all the activities to bring a product to the market, finding and attracting customers, and retaining those customers. Really, marketing is about meeting the needs and wants of your customers. In marketing, customers are the focus. Having a marketing plan is important for today's small agribusinesses, particularly those involved in direct-to-consumer marketing. A marketing plan is a written document that identifies and describes your target market and the segment of customers you want to attract. And it outlines what you're going to sell, how, and where you're going to sell it. A marketing plan provides you with a marketing roadmap. It establishes objectives, actions, and a timeline for all the activities that you're planning on conducting, so you can also monitor those activities and the outcomes.
What do we need to talk about marketing? Marketing is essential for today's small farms. When selling agricultural products as commodities to processors or big retailers, producers may not need to advertise their products or know the consumers of those products. However, if you sell in direct-to-consumer channels, marketing is necessary to successfully market your products. A growing interest in local farmers market, locally grown or produced products, as well as more differentiated products like organic, sustainably grown products, grass-fed, cage-free, have created venues for producers to have direct contact with customers and communicate the value of products to those customers, making personal relationships necessary. There are some basic elements or tools used to bring a product to the market, to make it accessible, and to promote it. These elements are product, price, place, and promotion. These are 4 controllable variables that we can tailor to offer value to our customers and are known as the 4 P's of marketing or the marketing mix. Marketing is about putting the right products at the right price, at the right place, at the right time. These elements are not isolated. They should complement each other. All of the 4 P's of marketing should be constructed based on market research. If you want to sell a product at a farmer's market, for example, market research can be as simple as surveying your customers at the farmer's market, collecting consumers' feedback, observing who's visiting the farmer's market, what are they buying, how much they're spending, analyzing what other type of sellers there are at the farmer's market, and what they're selling and at what price. In the next slides, we're going to be talking about each one of these elements. The first element of the marketing mix is product. Product consists of characteristics and attributes of the product or item we are selling, and it includes product design, quality, functionality, packaging, labeling, branding, customer service, certifications of product accreditation like organic certified, locally grown, certifications naturally grown, certified human eggs or milk, or any other certification that adds value to your product. And it also includes any additional services provided like home delivery, recipe cards, emails with recipe ideas, etc. Because selling product is what will bring in revenues, it is important to create a product or grow a crop, in the case of farming, that consumers want to buy. It is important to incorporate these elements of the product, having in mind the target market, that is, who you want to market your product to. Remember that your target market are those consumers that are more likely to buy your product. For example, think about what type of products they are looking for, or what variety of products they want to buy, or variety of flavors, or what type of packaging is more attractive to them. Packaging is important for presentation. It is important that the product looks clean, of quality, and looks attractive. For example, if you sell cottage foods, you could have seasonal packaging. Color packaging according to seasons or holidays. Packaging is also important for maintaining quality and food safety. For example, in the first picture, consumers can touch the product, but they may not buy it, which can decrease the quality due to bruising and can also introduce food safety problems. In the second picture, the product is packaged in individual containers, which helps control food safety and bruising problems. Keep in mind that these containers can also be reusable. So identify which is the best way to present the product according to the market and consumers you are selling to. If you sell at a farmer's market, make sure your stand is clean and organized. Have information about your farm and products Also include prices. Providing information helps attract customers. Examples of other product features that can increase the value of your products are grown using environmentally friendly practice, organic certification, recipe cards provided with your products. Providing recipe cards is important, especially if you are selling a new variety or a less known vegetable or fruit. Also, products grown or made locally. Some states have branding programs. For example, here in Mississippi, we have Genuine Mississippi, which is a certification that your product is produced locally here in the States. If you are interested in taking advantage of this marketing program, contact the Mississippi Department of Agriculture and Commerce. If you are a small producer selling at a farmer's market or through a community-supported agriculture, CSA, diversification is important. For example, offering an assortment of fruits and vegetables, new varieties, or new product presentations or packaging. But first, we need to understand what customers want to find ways to serve their needs. For example, do customers want products year-round? Are there any products customers cannot find locally? Or are they looking for products processed in a natural way? Whatever it is, ask customers what they want and what they value. As you develop or think about your product, keep in mind that packaging should meet regulations and customers' needs. You may also need to adjust the product specification according to marketing requirements. For example, packaging requirements may be different if you're selling wholesale than if you're selling at a farmer's market. Providing information about your products and farm name is important for traceability, so people know what they're consuming and where it was produced. Also, this helps create recognition for your farm business. The second P of the marketing mix is price. This is the process of setting how much consumers will pay for your product. This process involves any additional cost or discounts you apply to the price. When setting your price, it is important that the price is consistent with how much customers value your product. Why is it important to determine the right price for your product? Well, it is important for making a profit so your operation can be a viable business. It is also a factor you have control over, for the most part, especially if you're selling directly to consumers. If you are a commodity producer or selling wholesale, you may have less control over prices. Underpricing is really a common mistake among agricultural producers, and this problem is sometimes a result of not knowing production costs and the lack of production and financial records. So what factors then should we consider when setting our prices? Total cost, how much it costs you to produce and market your product, as well as the fixed cost of running your business. Product value, how much the product is worth to the customer, how much they value it. Demand factors, consumers' preferences, and customers' willingness and ability to pay for your product. Competition, what product, prices, and services are your competitors offering? Location, where are you selling your product? In rural markets, cities, wholesale, or local markets? A first and very important step before setting a price for your product is to know your cost. Map your production process and inputs from beginning to end. Break down your cost into direct and indirect expenses. Direct expenses are expenses directly related to the production of the product. In a vegetable farm operation, for example, this would include things like soil preparation, seeds, fertilizers and pesticides, labor, packaging. In a cottage food operation, for example, a jelly operation, direct expenses would include things like raw materials for the jelly, fruit, sugar, pectin, packaging and labeling materials, and labor. Indirect expenses are also called overhead or fixed expenses, and these are all the expenses not directly related to the production of the product. These costs do not vary with the level of production. Some examples of indirect expenses are mortgage, rent, insurance, taxes, interest payments, depreciation on equipment, and marketing expenses. For example, farmer markets fees and labor for selling at the farmer's market. Don't leave out overhead expenses. Large businesses are able to allocate their overhead expenses across a variety of products. However, for a small business, overhead expenses could be a large portion of their total cost. It is also important to conduct a break-even analysis to determine the minimum price that would allow you to cover all of your costs. For example, let's assume we produce 10,000 pounds of a particular vegetable. If the overhead cost is $1,000 and the total variable costs are $4,000, which means that the unit variable cost is 80 cents, then the break-even price is calculated as the unit fixed cost plus unit variable cost. In this case, we divide the 1,000 overhead cost by the units produced, and that gives us 20 cents. This means we are allocating 20 cents of overhead to each pound of product. Then our variable cost is 80 cents. If we add those two, we get $1. This means that the minimum price you should charge for each pound of your product is $1. What should be the minimum selling price then? The price that allows you to cover all of your expenses. And we determined this in our previous example using the break-even point. Remember, it's not possible to make a profit at this price level. You need to charge a profit margin above the break-even point. In our previous example, if you charge $1 or less, you will not make any profit. Now, what should be the maximum selling price? The maximum selling price is the maximum price your customers are able and willing to pay. If you charge a price higher than this, you will scare away your customers. As mentioned before, the price of a product has to be consistent with how much customers value the product. The price should reflect the value your product offers. If your product has high quality and offers a high value, then you can charge a higher price. However, a product with lower quality will result in a lower price. Keep in mind that more differentiated products enjoy higher markups because they provide higher benefits to customers. For example, organic, sustainably grown products, locally grown products, grass-fed or cage-free products. It is also important to analyze your competitors. Look for products similar to yours in your area. It could be at a grocery store, food co-op, or local farmers market. Examine their price, quality, complementary services and products offered, for example, recipes included with vegetables. When analyzing your competitor, also keep into consideration their scale and what type of customers they're targeting. Keeping in mind that competition on prices is normally not the best strategy, especially if you are a small producer offering a differentiated product. Also, customers who base their decisions on lower prices do not tend to be loyal, and you do not want to attract the wrong type of customers. Analysis of your competitive environment should be an additional piece of information when making pricing decisions, and should not be the only consideration. Analyzing demand factors is also important. You want to find out what customers want and what is their perception of value. For example, do they value price, quality, taste, service, experience, convenience, connection to the farm or community? What do they value? You can conduct small surveys or testing to evaluate what customers think about your product and to ask for their feedback. It is also necessary to evaluate the economic status of your customers and how sensitive they are to prices. That will help you determine how much they are willing and able to pay for your product. Identifying your target customer is essential for any of your targeting efforts. You need to identify what kind of customers you want to attract. This will be the segment of the population that is more likely to buy your products. They will value your products and they will be willing and able to pay for it. We need to know how they buy, when they buy, where they buy, why they buy. Our challenge is to understand our target customers. So in summary, what is a good price? A good price is a price that allows you to cover your cost, allows you to make a profit, allows you to be competitive, and your customers are able and willing to pay it. If customers are not willing to pay a price above the break-even point, and remember, that is the price that allows you to cover all of your production, distribution, and overhead expenses, then the product should not be introduced into the market. It means some changes may be needed to increase and communicate the value of your product. The third P of the marketing mix is place or placement. Place is the location where the product is sold, stored, or distributed. It can be a physical location. In the case of direct-to-consumer marketing, it can be farmers markets, on-farm stores, road stands, or restaurants. In the case of indirect-to-consumer outlets, It could be retailers, grocery stores, food hubs, or wholesale. The location could also be online, like in the case of internet sales. Place also includes decisions regarding distribution, logistics, transportation, and shipping. This element may not be as complicated for small businesses as it is for wholesalers or larger businesses who have to deal with more complicated distribution channels and multiple locations. It's not always easy for small local farmers to access larger volume marketing channels like wholesale or grocery chains and retailers. Many of these larger buyers require good agricultural and handling practices or other food safety third-party certifications. In addition, volume and quality requirements are different. Small farms are more likely to rely on direct-to-consumer marketing channels, where they can receive a higher price per unit and sell smaller volumes. However, higher demand for local foods has resulted in an increase of local offerings and also more competition. And because of this, it is important to have a strong marketing strategy to differentiate yourself. Also, diversifying your marketing outlets could be a good strategy to sell more and to reduce the marketing risk. For example, you could combine different direct-to-consumer marketing channels with sales to food service, institutions, and retail or wholesale, especially if you want to grow your operation. Some examples of direct-to-consumer marketing channels for farmers are farmers markets, restaurants, supermarkets, CSAs, food hubs, and farm-to-school programs, among others. When working with local buyers, it is important to initiate the contact with the buyer. This could be a local grocery store or a restaurant. Then developing those partnerships is paramount. Constant communication about what you're growing and what your production window is will also help them plan. Something to keep in mind is that prices vary across market outlets. Prices vary because of differences in marketing, distribution, and packing cost. When selling to different market outlets, make sure your prices also reflect the differences in cost. For example, if you're selling at a farmer's market, make sure to factor in transportation to and from the market, farmer's market's fees, and labor. Labor will be the hours spent traveling to the market, setting up your stand, and selling at the farmer's market. The fourth P of the marketing mix is promotion. Here is where the value and benefits as well as the uniqueness of your product and your business need to be effectively communicated to your customers. It is important that you tell your story. We need to get your customers' attention. Promotion activities should increase customers' awareness of your product and your business, and it should also create excitement about buying your product. The ultimate goal is to attract customers, to motivate them to buy your product, and then retain these customers by building relationships. For example, if we sell at a farmer's market, we want our customers to come back to our stand every time they visit the market. Promotion also includes different elements. For example, advertising, sales, sales promotion, online presence, public relations like trade shows, exhibitions, and others. To advertise your business and products, it is important to have a strong media presence. It is important to use the media outlets that your target customers use the most. Some examples of outlets you could use to reach customers with your message could be a business website, email marketing, newsletters, newspaper, or social media like Facebook and Twitter. Your message should be effective at reaching your desired audience. You need to identify what your message is, where your target customers are more likely to see it, and when they are more likely to see it. For example, are they more likely to find it on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube? Or what other social media outlets should you consider? It is important that you use social media effectively to communicate with your customers about what products and where you're going to be selling them. For example, you can post on social media about what seasonal vegetables you will have available at the farmer's market, and you can also let your customers know in what farmer's market you are selling and what day of the week. Also use social media to tell your story. Let your customers know about your business and about you. Facebook is the most widely used social media outlet in many sectors, including agriculture. There are many resources online you could use to learn all of the tools Facebook offers to reach your target audience. It is important to start by creating a Facebook page with your information, farm name, location, and some quality pictures. You could include pictures of your products, your farm, your crops, and pictures from the farmer's market, for example. Use your Facebook page to share news with your customers. For example, you could share when harvests for some products start or end, and when you have new offerings. As you do all these things, make sure to be consistent with your messaging and the story you tell about your farm business. There are other activities you could also do to promote your product. For example, providing product samples so potential customers can try your product. If you do so, just make sure to follow food safety guidelines, like cooling and covering the product as needed. If you sell processed products, you could also have small samples that you could offer to attract new customers. You can provide special offers, offer rewards for loyal customers, and use online marketing and online ads. Online ads is something that can be easily done on Facebook. Also, make sure you list your business on Google, especially if you have a pick your own operation or a farm store. You want to make sure that your customers know where you are located. Nowadays, it is also relatively easy and inexpensive to create a website for your business. It is important to plan your marketing activities to establish objectives and an action plan so results can also be monitored. And remember to keep good records. Having good records allows you to evaluate what's working and what's not working. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let us know if you have any questions.